Hey guys, hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. Good morning. I hope that you are having a fantastic day today. I am. And today is Monday. So it's a day off for us hairstylists and beauty and barber professionals. So today, guys, I wanted to come on and share some wonderful information with you that I think, um, not I think, I know for 100% fact that the information I'm going to share with you today can change your life. The information I'm going to share can change your life, but that's only if you let it. So, today, guys, I'm really excited to share this information with you. And, participation is great. So, if you have any questions along the way, wherever you may be watching from, if you have any questions along the way, I would certainly encourage you to put your questions in. If you can't hear me, let me know if everything is working well and if you could hear me. I'm trying to give a few minutes to let the algorithm do what it does to make sure that everyone can join us here. But we will be getting started here shortly. So let me. If everything is working well. Okay, it is. It is. So hey guys, like I said, I hope you're having a fantastic day today, and I'm not gonna belinger the points or keep you long today. So as always, I like to honor your time, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this party started if it's all right with you. So here we go. Let me switch over and let's see if we can do this here. All right. Hopefully you can see my screen here. And as I said before, guys, this information that I'm going to share with you today, I believe is perhaps one of the most important webinars you can possibly attend. And I think once you go through this entire webinar, you will see why I say or why I believe that this is so important. So let's go ahead and get started. Today, guys, I'm going to be talking to you about how to retire from behind the chair as a hairstylist or barber on $100 a week. $100 a week. So we know most of us get paid, of course, daily as we're taking care of our customers and clients. And most often we take care of our bills, whether we are paying for our booth rent or salon suite rent, buying products. Usually we do those things by the week. So it's important that that I put this in the proper context. I'm going to show you how you can actually retire from behind the chair for as little as $100 a week. And of course, you can obviously do more, and you're going to see why it's important. But $100 a week will go a long way in getting you started, especially if you have not. Okay, so let's go ahead and get going. In this video, you will discover the biggest mistakes beauty and barber professionals make when it comes to retiring. I'm going to show you the easiest way to prepare for retirement as a beauty or barber professional. And I'm going to share with you what you should be doing now to prepare and live so you can live comfortably in retirement without the fear of running out of money. But before I begin, you may be wondering, who is this guy? Who am I? And why should you listen to me? So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Alex Jones. I'm a former hairstylist and salon owner of 23 years. And I'm an Amazon best-selling author of the book Six Figure Salonpreneur: 8 Easy Steps to Making $100,000 working 3 days a week or less. And that was an Amazon best-selling book, number one, as a matter of fact. And I am also the founder of the Beauty Barber Retirement Program. Okay. So, in addition to those things, guys, I was able to retire early from behind the chair back in 2018 using the very same information that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So, that's the first way I know the information that I'm sharing with you can 100% change your life because it changed my life. And so I want to be able to do the same for people just like you. So since leaving the beauty and barber profession, I also founded a company called Park Rose Financial. It is an insurance, financial, and retirement planning consultancy. Okay, whole bunch of words for saying I help you build wealth and prepare for retirement. Just that simple. And my mission is to help as many people as possible protect themselves, protect their families, prepare for retirement, and achieve financial security. And that's my mission and that's my goal for sharing this information with you today. So let's begin. So let's first talk about what is the current state of the beauty and barber industries. So first of all, the median income of the typical beauty or barber professional is roughly about $69,984 a year. So very close to $70,000 a year. Now, of course, we know we're going to have a wide range, whether you are a commissioned person, whether you are booth rental, whether you are self-employed, based on how you structure your pricing menu. This number may vary. You may be higher or lower, but right in the middle, the median is roughly about $69,900 a year. But the average beauty and barber professional have less than 1 month's expenses saved for emergencies. I'll say that again. The average beauty or barber professional has less than 1 month's expenses set aside, saved for emergencies. Now, I don't know about you, but when you are kind of living paycheck to paycheck, week to week, and in the back of your mind, knowing that just one emergency, one slip and fall, uh, a child, one of your children falling or breaking an arm and having a medical bill, uh, having your transmission or something go out on your vehicle or your car. Those are emergencies. In fact, some of these things I think are not emergencies because we know eventually, for instance, that your roof is going to have to be repaired one day. So if your roof caves in and is not due to a heavy rain or flood or hurricane or tornadoes or anything like that, that's just normal wear and tear. So you want to make sure that you are prepared and have yourself set up so if there is something that happens that's a true emergency, you are in a position where you can cover that. 63% of hairstylists, beauty and barber professionals cannot cover a $1,000 emergency if without going into additional debt. And so we know that that's the case for many of us. Most beauty and barber professionals over 40 have less than $50,000 saved for retirement. Now, as it relates to retirement, some of you I know you love, love, love what you do. You love your customers and clients. You're very professional about your career, and your passion is helping people look and feel great. I get that, but understanding it's not a matter of when, not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When will you either be too old, too broken down, or too tired to stand behind the chair day in and day out servicing customers and clients? What are you going to do to make sure that when that day comes, not if, but when that day comes, you have the financial resources to continue living in a lifestyle that you are accustomed to living. And so that's what this is all about, guys. Because we know the average career span of a beauty or barber professional is typically between 15 to 20 years due to all the standing and repetitive motions and the physical strain on our body. Now, of course, you may be in the business longer than that, but we're talking about the average. We're talking about, including those people who didn't make it 15 years or 20 years. So 15 to 20 years is about the average. But let's go on and look when it comes to net worth, okay? When you take the amount of assets that you own and you subtract the amount of money that you owe, that's your net worth, okay? And so we know that the median net worth, right in the middle, of the typical African American household is roughly 14% of what our counterparts and peers own. Just 14%. And so that puts us at what, about $44,000. That's the sum total typical of the typical African American household. That's the sum total of what we own minus what we owe. Okay. Where our counterparts are usually somewhere between 280,000, almost $300,000 median net worth. So we have a little ways to go in terms of catching up. Okay. And we want to make sure, I want to make sure that I help you do that. Because it is projected that the typical African American household, their net worth isn't projected to grow over time. It's actually projected to be zero by 2023, excuse me, 2035. And we're only talking about another 10 years, guys. So this is really, really important stuff. So you can see why I'm so passionate about the information that I'm sharing with you today, because I want to help you change your life. I want to help you get to wherever it is that you want to be. If you want to have financial freedom, if you want to be able to live life on your terms, be able to have more options, be able to experience uh, greater vacations and experiences in life, if you want to be able to give your family a better leg up in life than you had, this, guys, is the information that you need in order to make that happen. So, why am I concentrating on this group so much? Let me share with you, particularly financial and retirement planning for women is even more important than it is for men. And here's why. Number one, women live longer than men do in retirement. Yes, women live longer than men do in retirement. And so that means that 80% of men, when they pass away, guess what? They were married. But 81% of women, when they pass away single. If they were married before, if they were married prior, then either they may be divorced or their husband has already passed away, right? So that means that there are some additional needs that women have that men often don't face. We know that the average Social Security benefit is roughly about, and it says $1,618 a month, and it varies, guys. And we're going to talk about why that's important in just a second here. But the question becomes, if you had to, could you live off $1,600 a month? Could you live off $1,800 a month? Could you live off $19 to $2,000 a month? I think for most of us, that would be a stretch. By 2035, again, Social Security is projected to take in less than what it pays out. And so that really means that Social Security is a little bit in trouble, and that was even before this new administration came in. So quite honestly, none of us really knows what the future has in store for us as it relates to Social Security as a safety net. But here we go. We know that from retirement statistics, 44% of African Americans have an average retirement savings account balance of roughly about $38,000, while 38% of African Americans depend solely, or 90% uh, of their income comes from Social Security on a monthly basis. So for many of us, Social Security is a huge, huge part of our income in retirement. And so that's the reason why this is really, really important. So let's take a look. Here are some of the biggest mistakes most of us beauty and barber professionals make that make it so difficult for us to retire comfortably. So, number one, the first big mistake is many of us are under reporting our income to the IRS. So I know that's not you, but we know that many people are not reporting their entire income to the IRS. And what does that do? So again, we go back. If the average monthly Social Security check is $1,900 a month, that means that your monthly Social Security benefits are determined by your reported adjusted gross income. The amount of adjusted gross income that you report to the IRS is going to determine your Social Security benefits. So that means when you are underreporting your gross income, that negatively impacts your Social Security benefits. So now you see why that's a huge, huge problem. So again, if the median Social Security check is roughly between $1,687, and the average is roughly about $1,900, $1,987, what happens when you underreport your income? That means your check is going to be even less. And so I would encourage you to, if you haven't done so, if you go to SSA as in Apple.gov, G-O-V. If you go to Social Security and get open up your account, so you can see what your projected Social Security benefits are looking like so far, that will give you a pretty good understanding of where your Social Security benefits will be by the time you retire. And again, that could change depending on how much income you report each year going forward, whether that be more or less. But I encourage you to go to SSA.gov and check that out. Number two, the second biggest mistake is many of us are not saving and investing weekly. And so this is a huge, huge mistake, guys, because you know we are, we're standing behind the chair day in and day out, taking care of our customers. We're trying to pay our bills at the salon. We're also taking care of our bills at home, right? And many of us are doing the right thing. We're taking care of our salon. We're buying our products. We may be paying for our employees. We're paying for marketing and training and education and products and all of that stuff, right? And we're taking care of our bills at home, the mortgage, the rent, the light, gas, and water, the car notes, insurances. We're taking care of all of those things, right? But in the process, many of us are paying out the bills, but never paying ourselves in the process. See, paying yourself first must become a priority if you want to protect yourself and your family and prepare for retirement. The third biggest mistake we see people making all the time is thinking things are going to work themselves out. Let me tell you something, guys. Hope is not a strategy. And so if you're not taking the time to plan accordingly, learning more, right? Putting the plan in place, consistently taking action day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, year in and year out. If you're not doing those things over and over and over and over again, the likelihood of you being able to retire comfortably each year goes down less and less and less and less. And so you have to know and understand that if you want to be able to have the life that you truly want, it's something that you can't leave it to chance. You have to plan for it. You have to make sure that you have a that you're executing, that you're taking action, that you're taking responsibility. Because like I said before, these things don't work themselves out without proper planning, without proper action. And then number 4, the fourth biggest mistake I see people making is never seeking advice. Bible says that a foolish man follows his own advice. You should always be seeking knowledge. A wise man seeks wise counsel. And so, if you are looking at your financial situation, if you are looking at your finances and you know that you're not in a place where you really want to be, if you know that you are, if you're up at night and that, you're concerned about your finances, it's okay. It's okay, guys, because trust me, nobody comes out of the womb knowing this stuff. And Lord knows they don't teach it in high school. And I went to college and studied for finance and economics, and they don't teach you how to build wealth in college either. It's not taught. So if it's not taught, right? And we didn't come out the womb knowing this information. What do we have to do? We have to make sure that we what? We have to seek advice. We have to seek counsel. We have to seek out people who are more knowledgeable about us. And it's okay, guys. No one is expected to know everything. But to stay in your situation, if you know that you're not doing or you don't know exactly what to do, to stay in that situation, that, my friend, is really the bad thing that you don't want to do. So can you guys think of some other reasons why beauty and barber professionals don't ask for help? And that's one of the reasons why I'm here today, because someone shared information with me years ago that put me in a position to be able to retire early. And I believe in what was shared with me so much that I took action, and look at me today. Again, guys, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not saying that because, I got all the money in the world. I don't. But listening to sound advice, taking action, that's what allowed me to be able to retire early. Okay. And so whoever's listening, if you're listening to this information, this is your wake up call and this is your opportunity as well. So just imagine if you could grow your money tax free. Secondly, Warren Buffett, who's probably the greatest investor in our lifetime, said, you want to make sure when it comes to investing, the first rule of money is that you never lose money. And then rule number 2 is that you never forget rule number 1. So in essence, Warren Buffett is saying you want to make sure that whatever you invest in, you never lose money. So you should, if you are looking for ways to flip your money, but there's a chance that you could lose it, right? That's not a smart investment. Okay. If you're looking for ways to grow your money in 30 days or 90 days, guys, let me tell you, All of those get rich quick approaches and strategies, they have a huge risk of losing money. And that's what you don't want to do. And that's what Warren Buffett says. So imagine if you could get stock market based returns without the risk of ever losing your money. What if you could create tax free income that never runs out? See, the reason why, again, I'm sharing this is because I was able to use this strategy back in 2011. I used some of my nest egg to open up my last salon. And so this was a strategy, this was a way that I could utilize my own piggy bank, right? To be able to further my business endeavors so I can generate and create more income for myself that I can then do what? Save, invest, and put back into my bank, right? And so the great thing about what I'm sharing with you today is that you're able to do that. You're able to access your money when you need to for whatever reason. You're able to also protect yourself, your family, and your assets if you get sick, hurt, or pass away. The great thing about it, guys, like I said before, you don't have to imagine it. There is a way, and it's called indexed universal life insurance. So, why is it so powerful? Let me first explain what it is. Indexed universal life insurance is permanent life insurance, meaning it stays with you throughout your entire life. Indexed universal life insurance has two components to it. There's the insurance component, which provides protection, but then there's also the saving and investing component, which allows you to build and grow cash value, uh, tax free. Now, the reason why it is called indexed universal life insurance is because the monies that you pay out when you pay your premium each and every month, part of it will pay for your insurance. The other part goes into your cash value account. That account is going to grow tax free. And when it's indexed, tied to the stock market, you get stock market returns without the risk of ever losing money. I know I'm gonna explain this in just a second. So many people don't realize or don't know that since the late 1800s, the wealthy have been using life insurance to build their wealth tax free and to be able to pay it forward and pay it and pass it on to the next generation as well, tax free. And so uh, in 1997, the rules changed, allowing you to get stock market based returns without the risk of ever losing your money. That changed in 1997. Fortunately for me, I learned about this back in 2003. And that is why I was able to retire early using the strategies that I'm sharing with you today, guys. So if you look at this graph here, you see this graph, and if you look at line, the red line represents how the stock market, the returns of the stock market from 1997 to 2024. All right. So this shows the growth of $100 that was invested in 1997, and it shows how it would have grown over the next 27 years, right? Just $100. Okay. One time. All right. So, but the thing I want you to pay attention to is how the red line has all these ups and downs, these hills and valleys, this roller coaster like effect, right? That is the nature of the stock market. And that's the reason why the stock market, when you have all or most of your retirement money sitting in the stock market, that's the reason why it's so dangerous. Okay. So many of you guys know right now today, for those of you who do have money sitting in the stock market today, how we feeling. Every time something happens, every time a tariff, they start talking about tariffs. If this, every time they start talking about recession, every time they start talking about federal funds rate, treasury bills, all these things have an effect on what the stock market is doing. But if you look at the blue line, if you notice, you don't see any dips. You might see some flat areas, but you don't see anything where it's going down. That is the index universal life insurance cash value. That's the power of that. The blue line represents what your money looks like. It only goes up when the market is up, but when the stock market is down, it never goes down. It locks in. All your money is protected. You never lose a dime. And when the stock market starts going back up again, your money starts increasing again. That is the power of the index universal life insurance. So let's continue. What else makes it so powerful? You can access your money, right, from index universal life insurance anytime you want, right? And you can do that without having to pay penalties and taxes, unlike your what? IRAs, unlike your 401ks, your 403bs, and all of these other retirement accounts. If you want to take your money out early, they're going to slap a penalty on you. You want to take your money out early, they're going to hit you with some taxes that you got to pay on the money that you take out. When you have an index universal life insurance policy, you never have to worry about those things. What else? You are protected if you get chronically ill or critically injured. So if you are hurt to the degree that you hurt or sick to the degree that you can do two of six daily functions, daily living functions, then you actually qualify and you are able to access part of your death benefit. They become living benefits that you can live from to continue paying your bills until you get healthy or get well again. All right. So, what else? Index Universal Life Insurance helps you protect your family and pass on generational wealth if you pass away. See, many of us, when we pass away, we're not passing on generational wealth, we're passing on generational debt. So, if we still have a mortgage left on the house, guess what? We're having to, your, our kids and grandkids are having to pick up the bill. Well, guess what? If you have an index universal life insurance policy, they receive those benefits tax free, never having to pay tax on it. They're able to use those proceeds to pay off the loan. So now they actually have what? A home that they can live in without having to worry about paying for a mortgage because it's paid off. Guys, let me tell you something. This thing is powerful. Powerful. Whatever bills you're leaving behind, if you have life insurance to cover those bills and then some, then your family's able to take care of those expenses. They're able to take care of the taxes that may be due, and they're able to use the rest of the money to be able to live a lifestyle that you have created for them and they've grown accustomed to living in. That's how you bless your family. You're able to also turn on lifetime income in retirement that never runs out. Living example. I'm showing you why it's so powerful. That's how I was able to retire early from behind the chair. And I want to show you how you can do it too. And like I said, you can pass on generational wealth tax free. Now, here's the thing, some of these accounts you may have heard of: 401ks, 403bs. If you happen to work for a institution or a state agency, if you happen, you may have heard about 457s, just your federal government or your state government. TSP is your federal government. IRAs, you may have heard of Roth accounts. Let me tell you, none of these counts And all of these counts put together cannot do what the index universal life insurance does. Cannot do it. Index universal life insurance provides you immediate protection for yourself and for your family, for your legacy. It helps you to reduce taxes and debt because it never grow. You never have to pay taxes on the money, on the cash value that you earn. You're able to reduce your debt, right, by using the proceeds from your cash value policy to pay you down your debt. You're able to get tax-free growth. If you happen to establish one of these for your children or grandchildren, guess what? That becomes a college fund, but it does not affect financial aid. If you have money that is sitting in any one of these other accounts, your 529 account, all of these other accounts you may be setting aside, well, guess what? You have to report that on your FAFSA application. And so that money is factored in when it comes to how much aid you get or don't get. Well, guess what? Your universal life insurance cash value, there's no line on the form where they ask you for that information. So you don't even have to report that. So it doesn't affect it. If you're never at risk of losing money in the stock market, right? This is money that you can use for long-term care if you happen to get sick and need long-term care. If you need to pay someone to be able to take care of you in retirement or in sickness or illness or injury, well, you have money that you can use in your as living benefits in your life insurance policy. Again, you're able to get stock market returns without the risk of losing money. You're able to turn on lifetime income in retirement. You're able to access your money anytime without penalties and taxes. Guys, let me tell you something. This thing is powerful. And I am so grateful and so thankful that someone shared this information with me back in 2003. And I'm so grateful to myself that I took advantage of it. So that is the way that I was able to retire early from behind the chair. And let me tell you, it's been a godsend for me. And now you can do it too. So let's talk about it. Here's a case study. This young lady named is Jennifer. She was a hairstylist, and she literally thought that she could not save money. And so I started working with her. She paid her bills, right? Her living expenses, and she tried to save from what was left over. And so she honestly did not know where her money was going. So I worked with her and I showed her how she was able to restructure her spending. Okay. And I showed her the importance of her being able to start making herself and her family a priority. After all, she was the one who was standing behind the chair servicing those customers and clients. So I helped her set up a way that she's able to pay herself first. And so what does that do for her? That allowed her to start putting money into an index universal life insurance policy. Now she is protected if she gets critically or chronically ill or injured. That becomes her disability insurance. Okay? Instead of having a separate disability insurance policy that she's paying on, this is all wrapped up in that. What else? See, grandmama now has money to take care of the granddaughter if Jennifer passed away. So as grandmama was getting older, if she had to take on the responsibility of raising her granddaughter, she would not have to do that from a position of where's the money going to come from. She started all over again at an advanced age. So grandmama didn't have to worry about taking care of that because Jennifer started putting money away into a policy. Now, Jennifer is going to keep contributing to her life insurance policy. And when she retires at 64 or 65, she's going to receive $33,000 a year in retirement that never runs out, tax free. Guys, let me put this in perspective for you. When it comes If you had $1 million sitting in a retirement account, if it was sitting in a 401k account, if it was sitting in a IRA account, the truth of the matter is you don't have $1 million. You have probably around $750,000 because those two particular accounts have not been taxed yet. So if you had $1 million, you have to pay taxes on that money. So that's the first thing. Hey Sherry, how you doing? So that's the first thing. So now your million has dropped down to 750. All right. Now, most financial advisors will say that the most that you can take out and expect your money to be able to live on, right? To be able to live on throughout your entire life, you're gonna have to only take out about 4%. Okay, so roughly 4% of 750,000 is about $30,000 a year. That's $30,000 a year that you don't have to pay taxes on it because you've already paid taxes on it. Because I said, you remember, you went down from a million, now you only have a 750. That's your after tax amount. And then if you take out 4% of that each year to live on, that's only $30,000. Well, this young lady is going to get $33,000 tax free. She never has to pay taxes on it. And it never runs out. That $30,000 that you're pinching off of year in and year out, eventually it's going to run out. She never has to worry about that. And oh, yeah, by the way, if you are getting Social Security benefits in that first example, if you had $1 million, like I said, you have to pay taxes on that money. Now you only have 750. And now you're able to take out 4% every year because your money has to last the rest of your life. So you can only take out 4% a year, which brings you down to 30,000. Well, here's the deal. The $30,000 that you're getting, that $30,000 has to be added to your Social Security benefits, which now will make your Social Security benefits become taxable as well. That's what happens. That's the dirty little secret that financial people don't tell you about investing in 401ks and IRAs. When you invest in an index universal life insurance policy, it never affects whether or not your Social Security becomes taxable. Ever. Again, guys, this thing is powerful. And so, not only did Jennifer put money aside for herself, she said, let me go ahead and put away $100 a month for my daughter, as you see in the picture, daughter as well. Now, Jennifer is going to contribute $100 a month for her daughter until her daughter becomes of age and her daughter is able to continue doing the same thing for until retirement. We're talking $100 a month for her daughter. 100 a month. When her daughter reaches age 62, her daughter is going to receive $36,000 a year for the rest of her life at age 62. That's the power of what I'm talking about. That is how you create true generational wealth. And that's how you do it easily and simply with just a little bit of money. This thing is crazy. So, with that being said, let me do a live situation for you guys. Okay, a live situation. So let's see if I can share a live situation, guys. Let me tell you. Let me look at my comments. Let me know in the comments how you guys feeling about what I'm showing you. How does it the idea of not having to worry about, first of all, if you get sick or hurt and unable to work, what would you do if you happen to be out of work for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and couldn't get behind the chair. I know how it was for me when I was standing behind the chair before I took advantage of this thing, how I was worried in the back of my mind. I was thinking, man, if I'm one slip and fall away, I'm on vacation. I can't really enjoy myself, and I really can't do things because I'm afraid. What if I fall and break an arm? What if fall and break a leg? Right? What if something happens where it impacts my ability to stand behind the chair and be able to take care of my customers and clients? What is that going to do? Everything I've worked hard for up until this point, I stand at risk of losing it because I don't have the money set aside for emergencies. I don't have the disability insurance, right? So, guys, let me tell you something. This thing is so powerful. And so I want to do a live scenario so you can just kind of see what this thing can potentially do for you. Is this making sense, guys? Let me know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Miss Hassan, if you're still with me, Miss Greg, if you're still with me, Miss Daniels, if you're still with me, Miss Jones, if you're still with me, let me know what your thoughts are. So let me see if I can share in real time what this looks like. Okay. Okay. So, okay, let me blow this up, make it bigger. Okay. All right. So, yep, it makes sense. What part of this, Miss Griggs, makes sense to you? Part of it, all of it? Like I said, when I saw this thing, I said, man, I gotta get this. I gotta jump on this because I saw no downside. There was no downside. I had protection. I was able to protect myself. I was able to protect my family. And let me just share with you the reason why I was having this conversation, the conversation that I was back in '03 at that time was because my father had just passed away. And during the time when my father passed away, he really didn't save a lot, and the money that he did have saved, he had to use because toward the end of his life he had gotten sick, and of course wasn't able to work, and so it became when he passed away, we had to take care of the expenses. And of course, I love my father, and you're going to do whatever you have to do to take care of those things. But just imagine, having to grieve for a parent, grieve for a loved one, and in addition to that, now you have to try to figure out how you're going to take care and pay the bills as well. And so that's the reason why I started looking for myself to make sure that I did not have this situation happen to my family if I got sick or hurt or passed away. And so that's the reason why, like I said, that was the reason why I decided to look into this venture, and I'm so glad that I did. So in this instance right here, this example that I'm showing you right now, I call this is the smart hairstylist. In this case, it's a young lady. She happens to be 30 years old. Okay. And what I wanted to show you was what $100 a week can do for you. $100 a week. Okay. So if you take $100 a week and you put it into an index universal life insurance policy, this is what it would look like for you. So in this case, it would be $5,200 a year that's being put into the policy. A portion of this, in this case, her case, we're talking about $1,000. Okay, that $1,000, or about what's that? About $90 a month. 90 to, roughly about $90 a month. That $90 a month is going to be put into life insurance. So as you can see here in this example, she will have $449,000 of protection. 449,000, almost half a million dollars here. So, if she happened to get sick, chronically ill or injured, chronically ill or injured, and she's not able to do 2 of 6 daily functions, then this amount becomes accelerated and she can use this for living benefits. If for some reason she needed long-term care, right? This $450,000 can be used on for that purpose. Okay? So that's what she gets immediately, right up front, once she makes her first premium payment. But a portion of this money is also going to her cash value. So in this case, about $4,000 of it is going into her cash value. What does that mean? That means that money right here is going to be growing year after year after year based on what the stock market does, what the stock market returns look like. She never has to worry about her account value going down ever because again, index universal life insurance, the cash value don't dip. It only goes up when the stock market goes up. When the stock market goes down, your money locks in. So her accumulated value is going to grow year after year after year after year. As you can see here, by the time she reaches 63, she has $500,000 sitting in her cash value account. 63 with just $100 a week, guys. She has $530,000 sitting in her cash value account. Now, here's what happens. She's able to take that 500 in this case by the time she gets to 65, she's able to take that $570,000 and she's able to turn it into what's called lifetime benefits. This young lady in this example is going to get $40,000 a year tax free for the rest of her life, no matter how old she lives. She will never outrun her money ever. And that's the reason why, guys, this thing is so powerful. I keep sharing this information. And fortunately, like I said, I work with people all across the country. And the good thing about it is, a lot of people, when they see this, they realize this thing can be a life changer for them and they take action. And it really bugs me and bothers me to see those that don't, because I know the alternative for them. Most of the situation, most of the people don't have any money saved. Most of the people don't have an idea of how they're going to be able to set aside money for retirement. Most of them do not. They're one slip and fall away from being sick or from being, from losing everything that they've worked so hard for. If they can't get back to work in a reasonable amount of time, I've literally been in salon environments where people were working on crutches, working on a scooter because they broke their leg, but they can't stand behind the chair, so they have to have the little scooter, where you have one knee on the scooter, and they're standing behind the chair because they can't give themselves enough time to let their leg heal because they got to get back to work. I've seen people with braces on their broken arms, but they got to try to figure out how to keep shampooing without their cast getting wet. Guys, this thing is a game changer and it's here for you. And this is something that you can do for as little as $100 a week. If you're working 5 days a week, that's less than $25 a day. And right now, we know that people are paying uh, big car notes, $500 a month, $600 a month, $800 a month, but they're not putting any money aside. And so once they get to retirement age, the car is not going to have that much value. So how are you going to keep living? How are you going to be able to continue to afford your lifestyle? Because again, one day it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We're going to get too old, too broken down, or too tired to keep standing behind the chair, guys. And like I said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's a matter of when. And so, these are the things that opportunities that you have that are here right in front of you, and it doesn't take much. Now, the thing that I will say that if you happen to be if you're older than someone than 30, I use the age of 30 in this example. That means that you have less time, right, to have your money grow, which then means that you probably have to put in more, right? I always tell people that you're gonna do one or two things. You're gonna pay now or you're gonna pay later. You're gonna pay now or you're gonna pay later. And it doesn't matter. The longer you wait, the more you're gonna have to pay. And so I always tell people that if you wait another year, you can tack on another 10% that you have to invest in whatever you are investing in if you expect to have the same amount. Each year goes by, it's going to be another 10% more. Um, Just Marie, this is called an index universal life insurance policy. And I encourage you, if you're coming in on the tail end of this, Just Marie, I encourage you to please watch this the replay, or you can obviously get in contact with me. In fact, let me go ahead and share that now. So you can obviously make a confidential one-on-one with me, and you're able to talk about how this can potentially help you as well. And I was just going over a live case just a minute ago, so I wanted to share that. So, like I said before, guys, take action, because the longer you wait for things that we know that we should be doing, the more this is going to cost you down the road. So, what's the next step? Here's the next step. If you want to build tax free wealth with no risk, zero risk of losing money ever, like in the stock market, if you want to protect yourself if you get sick or injured, if you want to protect your family if you pass away, if you want to have access to your money when you need it for any reason without penalties and taxes, if you want to have money if you need it for long term care, or if you wanted to be able to receive income in retirement that never runs out, go to this link right here, calendly.com/Alex Allure, and schedule your private consultation with me today. and I would be happy to walk through this with you guys. And so, like I said before, this thing, when it was introduced to me in 2003, it had just been online for about 5 years, roughly about almost 6 years. And I'm so glad that I took action when I did, because again, it was because my father passed away and I knew the challenges we were having to have to pay an additional, 12, 13, $14,000 for funeral expenses, for us having to pay other expenses for his estate and things of that nature. And like I said, we loved our dad. Um, but we wanted, but wouldn't it have been great if he had money to pass along to us instead of passing on generational debt? We had generational wealth instead. And so that's what led me to look f- to try to I was just looking for life insurance, to be honest. But like I said, someone was knowledgeable enough and someone shared with me this great product. And years later, in 2018, here I am able to retire early from behind the chair, all because someone shared this information with me and that I took action. So let me go back. Let me see if we have any questions that I might be missing. So yes, just Marie, this is a life insurance policy, but it's a particular type of life insurance, okay? And so it's not what you may typically think or know about life insurance. All right. So, like I said, please watch the replay. And once you watch the replay, or you can go to calendly.com/Alex Allure and schedule a one on one with me, and I can share the particulars with you. Yes, Sherry. Gosh. Oh my gosh. Again, I wish so many people can get this under their belt, because this thing does what a stock account, a 401k, an IRA, a 403b, a Roth account. None of those accounts can hold a candle to what this index universal life insurance does. None of it. So, Sherry, yep, having a few accounts is great. And so we have to make sure that the accounts that you have are doing the job that you need for them to do. And each account has a responsibility. Each account has its pros and cons. Each account is something that you should utilize in order to make sure that you get to the financial goal that you're trying to achieve. Okay, and so you just have to make sure that we have the right ones. As I said before, one of the things that I always, when I'm working with my customers and clients, we take a holistic approach at where you have, what are your financial resources? What are the things that you have currently? Okay. All your financial resources right now. What accounts are they sitting in? Because again, accounts have different pros and different cons. Different accounts will do different things. And so what we try to do is we want to make sure that the goals that you have down the road, that you have it set up and sitting in accounts that are going to help you meet your goals once those things, once you get to that particular time frame. But again, the thing that you have to do is you have to make sure that you have the right accounts. Okay. So that is absolutely key. And again, you can go to calendly.com/Alex Allure and schedule a confidential um, session with me, and we will take a look at what you have. And one of the things that I pride myself on, I'm not here to sell anyone anything. If it's not something that you truly don't need, trust and believe, I'm not going to try to sell something to you because I don't like people to do it to me, and that's not my personality, and that's not how I operate. Okay, and so if this is something that works for you, my job is to educate you on it, and hopefully you see the value in it, because I only want to work with people who see the value in what I'm doing. That's it. And if the person does not believe that this is something that's going to work well for them, then fine. It's okay, right? Because again, I want to work with people who believe in what we're doing. Because if you don't believe it at the very beginning when you start, then chances are you're not going to continue going down the path that you need to get on in order for this thing to work optimally on your behalf, right? So I try to treat people like I want to be treated. I want to give you the utmost respect, give you the information that you need in order to make the right decisions. Okay, because again, I have no doubt, zero doubt of the power and the ability of the Index Universal Life Insurance policy. Why? Because I know what it did for me. Nobody can tell me anything any different. That's number one. And number two, I know what it's done for hundreds of other people that I've worked with as well. It's just as simple. It's just as simple. And um, so that's how that's how I do it. Yep, Stephen. Belief is key, and my thing, seeing is believing, and experiencing it is even more belief on my behalf. So, guys, I really appreciate you for tuning in with me today. I encourage you to share this information with other people as well, other people that you know in the beauty industry. Share this information. Even if you think they know it, share it, okay? And so if you care about someone, whether it be a colleague or coworker, whether it be a friend or a family member, share this information because again, sharing is caring. And I would encourage you as well to go ahead, go to calendly.com/Alex Allure. Let me put that here. And I encourage you to schedule a one-on-one consultation so you can learn how this could work for you and help protect you and help protect your family to make sure that you have the financial resources you need in order that you might be able to live life and live life comfortably the way that you like to live it. So, guys, please, any other questions that I can answer for you? And if you like to not, um, ask them here for whatever reason, please feel free to get in contact with me or to make your one-on-one private consultation. Again, all information that is shared with me is confidential. All right. So, guys, I hope you're having a fantastic Monday today. I am. And that's what I want to do. I want to come here and be able to share information with you guys, uh, hairstylists, beauty professionals, on Mondays, because again, I know that that a lot of us, we're passionate about what we do, passionate about the services that we provide, passionate about taking care of our customers and clients, but we're not getting the information that we need in order that we may be able to have the financial resources and that we may have financial options in life. And so my goal is to share as much of that with you as I possibly can so that you're able to live life and live life to the full. All right. So, with that being said, guys, I hope that you are having a fantastic day, that you enjoy the rest of the day. If you haven't done so already, please go to calendly.com/ ALEX and schedule your private one-on-one financial consultation with me today. All right. So take care. God bless you guys. Be great.